Will you please state your name and occupation?
Dante Angelo Falconeri. I'm a detective with the Port Charles Police Department.
And how is your chest feeling today?
It's fine. Thanks for asking.
That's an admirable recovery for a gunshot wound to the chest. Your father he has quite a shot.
Objection.
Sustained.
I am attempting to assess the witness's health.
You are attempting to introduce a blatant falsehood into the mind of the
Order
jury.
in the court. Are you ladies hearing me? I'll not tolerate these outbursts. Detective Falconeri, in order to save us all a lot of time and trouble, and I remind you, you are under oath, will you tell the court who shot you in the chest?
The process of getting the gun back in working order discharged, and I accidentally shot myself.
That's the same story. Virtually the same words you used at your arraignment.
Objection! The prosecution's badgering her own witness.
Sustained. Ms. Walsh, you introduced the topic of Detective Falconeri's gunshot wound. He has explained, I trust for the last time, how he came to be injured. Now move it along and get to something relevant, or I'll dismiss the witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Detective Falconeri, for the benefit of the jury, can you please clarify when you learned the defendant, Sonny Corinthos, was your father?
On January 29th of this year.
And what were the circumstances?
I was at the home of the defendant.
Lying on the ground, shot in the chest.
Objection!
Sustained, Ms. Walsh. My patience is wearing thin.
I apologize, Your Honor. I merely wanted to remind the jury that the defendant is the father of Detective Falconeri, and the defendant didn't know it until after his son had been shot.
I don't know. I just got this envelope from the federal prosecutor's office. You serious, right? Are you kidding? She actually wants me to go over the questions and rehearse them out loud? All right, fine. I get it. I'll be ready. State your name for the court. Okay. State your occupation. I'm a freaking goat herder, all right? During your late sister's marriage, did the defendant ever demonstrate a hostile attitude?
Hey, what's the matter?
Nothing. Just thinking of what Sonny's capable of, that's all.
Detective Falconeri, could you tell the court how you got to know the defendant?
I was working undercover for the NYPD. We were investigating Sonny's alleged ties to organized crime.
So you got a job working for Mr. Corinthos?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe the evidence you put together linking the defendant to the murder of Claudia?
The night Claudia died, Sonny told me to go to the cabin, make sure it was burned to the ground. I also have a recording of Sonny telling me Claudia was dead. That was before her body showed up. He knew where she was buried and what the cause of death was before it was confirmed by the police.
And what about tangible evidence? The clothes he was wearing?
I saw Sonny burning something in his fireplace the night Claudia died. I came back the next morning, got the ashes, sent them to a police forensics lab. The ashes confirmed that they contained a silk shirt with Sonny's DNA and Claudia's blood on it.
Thank you, Detective. That was quite an impressive and convincing list of evidence.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. Continue without the editorials.
Detective Falconeri, did Mr. Corinthos ever indicate to you that he deliberately and with malice, aforethought, murdered his wife?
Federal prosecutor, she wants. Here's a witness in Sonny's trial. Give me this list of questions to go over and review out loud.
Honey, I know this isn't going to be easy for you.
You know, they seem so innocuous. Did the defendant ever demonstrate a hostile attitude? How the hell am I supposed to put into words how he treated her? How he broke her down to this shell, stripped her of all dignity in front of an entire room on her birthday, finally pushed her to a breaking point.
I know this isn't going to make any difference to you. Okay? But if you believe in karma at all, Sonny is going through his own personal hell right now. You know, his daughter got attacked.
I heard.
He is just ripped apart watching his child suffer like this at the hands of Luke's son, no less.
I know, I was in the PCPD when they brought him in, and he swears up and down he didn't do it.
Yeah, well, he sure ain't acting like a guy who's got a clear conscience.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, I overheard Jax on a phone call. Apparently he violated his restraining order and went over and confronted Christine at her house.
Answer the question, Detective Falconeri. Did the defendant ever tell you he had prior intent to kill his wife?
No.
Thank you, Detective. At this time, I would like to offer 2 more items into evidence. The human hair found in the cabin where Claudia Corinthos was murdered, and a statement by the county coroner confirming the hair is a DNA match for the defendant, placing him at the scene of the crime.
Objection, Your Honor.
You get a chance to question the coroner, Ms. Miller.
Let's see Sonny's little mouthpiece talk her way out of this.
Your Honor, the defendant has already admitted to being in the cabin. He has admitted to delivering the blow.
Objection. Counsel for the defense is speaking out of turn.
You'll get your turn, Miss Miller. Now sit. Let the prosecution continue.
When you were undercover, did you have the opportunity to observe the behavior of Mr. Corinthos' family? Family other than yourself?
Objection! The witness did not know he was the defendant's son at this time.
Sustained. Be more specific.
Certainly, Your Honor. Detective Falconeri, do you have reason to believe there was a witness to Claudia's murder?
You gotta get her off this now. I'm serious. Get her off right now.
In your professional opinion, was there a witness to this murder?
I have no physical evidence to back up that conclusion. No.
Your Honor, can you please direct the witness to answer the question?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled. Detective Falconeri, do you have reason to believe there was a witness to the death of Claudia Zakara Corinthos?
Look, Your Honor, I have no evidence to suggest that whatsoever.
Well, that's a dodge, Detective. You're practically doing backflips to avoid answering the question. I'm going to ask you a direct question. And if you refuse to answer, I'll find you in contempt. What is the name of the potential witness to the death of Claudia Zakara Corinthos?
You ever questioned Michael about his stepmother's death?
We discussed it.
And what did Michael say?
He implied he had knowledge of Claudia's death, but he never once confirmed that he saw her die.
Are you aware that there's a subpoena issued for Michael?
Yes.
Do you know why that subpoena has not been served?
Well, obviously the court cannot locate Michael.
So, Mr. Corinthos has a son he didn't know about who suffered an inexplicable gunshot wound, and another son in hiding who's a murder witness. Now, that doesn't exactly make the defendant a candidate for Father of the Year.
Objection, Your Honor. Prosecution has veered completely off topic in an attempt to sway the jury.
Sustained. Miss Walsh, you just won yourself a $1,000 fine. Want to go for contempt?
I apologize, Your Honor.
Ignore everything after the witness's last reply. Strike the same from the record.
I am done with this witness.
Defense?
Your Honor, we have no questions for this witness at the time, but we reserve the right to recall.
Detective Falconeri, you're dismissed.
I just wrecked my brother's life.